Evening. Tonight we are discussing Sheninger's 6 elements of driving change. While Sheninger and much of this course is focused on technology at the grade school level, I'm going to attempt to connect these change drivers to higher education, as that's where my personal experience is, where I currently work, and where I will probably continue to work. So number 1, connectedness matters. I grew up with the rise of the internet and social media. I remember a time before there was internet, and at one time, many years ago, I had a MySpace page long before Facebook was a reality. I've seen how powerful social media can be for both the good and the bad. Information travels so incredibly fast now that we are all connected through the internet and social media platforms. The students in this class, for example, are spread out across the globe, and yet we are doing a group project together in real time. That's amazing. Some educational systems caught on quickly and have used social media and the information age to build their brand. Other schools, like the institution that I work for, are just now getting on this bandwagon. I won't say it's too late, but we are behind. What is working for us now is that we can learn from all of the schools of higher education institutions that have been using social media marketing and connection for the past decade. Secondly, vision. While connectedness is an important driver of change, it can be hard to foster connectedness without a vision. As I've mentioned in previous posts, my institution is attempting to undergo change. It has been and will be an uphill battle. One could argue that some of the resistance to this change is stemming from a lack of vision, and certainly connectedness, referencing the morale problem taking place right now. So the lack of vision from the institution as a whole is a big part of our problem. Our leaders have a tendency to go after the bright and shiny front page article deserving no less than $50,000 grants and initiatives. While that type of publicity and reach is good, when you just go after a grant or opportunity for the attention rather than establishing a need and seeking remedies, everyone begins to pick up on the lack of vision and lack of direction. Number 3, value. Online courses, placement testing, transcript retrieval and storage, computer-based curriculums, among other technology-based learning initiatives, are currently being used at the institution where I work. While there are certainly some students who still prefer the paper-pencil type of learning, they are all having to adapt to the increasingly technology-based curriculums and classrooms. Sheninger says, technology has the power to engage students, unleash their creativity, and allow them to apply what they have learned to demonstrate conceptual mastery. Instructors, schools, colleges are using technology more and more to recruit students, establish early connections, share information quickly, and teach them. Technology in education is invaluable. Number 4, support. Establishing a technology-centered campus requires support. Support from your county or state leaders, your administration, fellow instructors, staff members, and perhaps more importantly, your IT departments. Without interaction and communication at each of those levels, schools cannot grow in technology, and students will suffer because of it. Support can mean funding, trainings, idea sharing, problem solving, and maintenance. Number 5, professional development. When I think of professional development concerning campus technology, I think of it in 2 different ways. 1, when new pieces of technology are installed on campus, so interactive whiteboards, robotics equipment, computer programs, professional development sessions must be offered to ensure the success of the piece of technology. If an instructor doesn't know how to use an interactive whiteboard, well, they're either going to mess it up or just not use it. Either way, it's not effective and a waste of money. Number 2, technology is now being used to deliver professional development opportunities like webinars, online courses, and video training sessions. The 6th element of change, embracement. Sheninger explains the difference between embracement and establishing buy-in. Embracement is attained through empowerment and autonomy. Buy-in requires a salesman-like approach that might contain if-then rewards. So until I read this chapter, I hadn't thought of the difference between the two approaches. What Sheninger found was that giving instructors the knowledge to use equipment and empowering them to do so without much interference has been more valuable in increasing the use of technology than showing them how this new tool is going to change their life. In reference to the question from this assignment, what role does data play in change? In my experience, it plays a huge part. At my previous institution, I was part of a team of people who collected data on how our students were performing, researched best practices, and made recommendations for improvement to those particular student populations. I just recently saw a post shared on LinkedIn from the CEO and product architect at Ion Robotics, I'm probably not saying that correctly, AION Robotics, about how the Navy wanted to increase the armor on their aircraft after World War II so that more pilots and soldiers would come home. So they examined all of the aircraft that they had that had been involved in the war and created a diagram of each bullet hole they found on those aircraft. Their research showed them that these planes were mostly shot on their wings, the central body of the plane, and the rear elevators. In turn, they planned to increase armor in those areas. However, Abraham Wald, who was a statistician, argued that adding more armor in those areas would not help. I'm going to quote from the article here. He realized what the others didn't. The planes were getting shot in the nose area, engines, and mid-body, but the diagram didn't show that because they weren't making it home, the planes that were shot in those particular areas. So he impacted where the armor went based on his evaluation of the data. So in conclusion, data, how it's evaluated and applied, can be a huge driver of change and, more importantly, effective and productive change. Thanks.